I caught that. Okay.
Good. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our Tuesday night wellness class. It's Wednesday for our friends in Australia. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, we have a special presenter, Cheryl Harris. She's a wonderful friend from Florida. I've known her for about 5 years, and this is a wonderful topic that is just so inspired and meaningful to Cheryl, and I feel like it's important for everybody to know about this as well. So without further ado, we'll turn the time over to Cheryl. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Jade. All right, so the topic that I chose for this lesson is basically thinking outside of the box. So this particular metaphor has been used by, well, for quite a while, but it's been used mostly in the advertising industry, in business, to kind of help encourage new ideas and creativity. So it's been pretty much adopted by most people throughout the world, and it is quite overused. But I like this phrase a lot, so I'm going to use it anyway to serve my purpose. For me, the phrase represents limitlessness to creativity and finding solutions to whatever we're seeking to achieve. So when I was looking up kind of like some definitions for this metaphor, these are some of the things that came up. To think in an original or creative way, to think differently from the norm, to think unconventionally, to think from a new perspective, to think divergently. I like that word, divergent. That's kind of a rebellious word, but what it means is to think outside cultural norms. The Merriam-Webster's definition is to explore ideas that are creative and unusual and that are not limited to our, I can't see that, but to our, what does it say there at the end? Limited to our...
Or controlled by rules or traditions.
Okay. Or controlled by rules or traditions, that's right. And then for our Aussie friends, they have a very similar phrase, to think outside the square, and basically it just means all the things that were already mentioned. So I was trying to figure out how I could incorporate some of the things that I learned by looking up about this phrase, you know, the different ways that we can think outside of the box. And so a lot of these came from what I found online, but then I added a few at the end. So hopefully it'll all come together and make sense for you. Let's see. So my thought on using this phrase was to convey some thoughts on how we can be divergent or be a rebel when it comes to our overall wellness. The first one is to be open-minded. What that means is to be willing to try new things and to consider new and different ideas. Sometimes sometimes I think we close off new ideas because of fear of the unknown, or the fear of having our minds changed about certain things. That can be a little scary, because change can be scary. But when it comes to our healthcare, it is something that I feel like we really need to be considering more and more these days, especially since, you know, first, how compliant do I have to be on here?
Speak freely. Speak freely.
Speak freely. Okay.
Put it out.
So yeah. So basically, our healthcare systems are failing. And the healthcare system has pretty much put us in boxes, and it's kind of like a one size fits all thing. And so when it comes to healthcare, we're all so uniquely different. And we may have some of the similar symptoms, but deep down, they are very different root causes for many of us. So we need to be open-minded about, our options of, more natural things that we can do, or, just be open to new ideas, because there's always a bunch of them out there. And it's just, yeah, don't be afraid of trying new things and different things, which is the next one. So try new things. It goes right along with being open-minded. Trying new things definitely can take us out of our comfort zone. But if we don't try new things, we'll never know if something will work for us, or if it won't work for us. And then we'll just get stuck doing the same thing over and over again. And with our health, we don't want to keep, staying on that hamster wheel of, having a symptom, being treated with for the symptom, and then, never getting any results. In fact, actually, the wheel just seems to go faster. So the next one is ask questions and get some answers. So I think musically, so when I hear that, I'm thinking about Little Mermaid, and when she's singing, because she wants to be out of the sea so badly, she wants to see what's out there in the big open world. And so it's important that we, ask ourselves questions, and explore options. And there's so many good questions that we can ask ourselves that will help us to, get the thoughts going, so that we're thinking like more expansively. So getting clear answers to the right questions can change our perspectives and open a whole new world of opportunity for wellness of body, mind, and spirit. And when we are proactive in learning natural ways to care for ourselves, our progress is limitless. So Ask a Child was a way to think outside of the box that was listed in the advertising world. And I left it there, even though I was like trying to think of a really great example of, I mean, my kids have said some just amazing things when asked, and my grandkids the same way, but I couldn't come up with something, really cute that they've said that would go along with this topic. According, a bunch of other thoughts came to my mind, but I left it on here because young children are naturally out of the box thinkers, and they say exactly what comes to their minds. And sometimes, there's just so much wisdom that comes from, I believe, heaven, right from their mouths and their souls, because they don't hold anything back. And I just think it's a blessing to be able to, listen to our children. They'll tell us what they think, and that will get us thinking and moving forward as well. The next one, take a shower. Of course, I know Ashley, because she's talked about this many a times, how she receives her best inspiration in the shower. And the same goes for me. I mean, that is definitely where I get the most divine downloads. And I just think water therapy and divine downloads go hand in hand. So yeah, never underestimate the power of taking a shower when you're trying to heal and find, outside of the box ways of doing that. So get out and enjoy nature. I love to be out in nature. Just going for a walk around my neighborhood, it gives me a boost of creative energy. And when I'm walking, my thoughts are just they're just free, I think. I'm hearing the birds, and I'm hearing the wind in the trees, and you know, even if I go for a walk on the beach or sit on the beach, I hear, you know, the waves crashing, and there's so much energy in that, and it's healing. So while this isn't, I mean, it is a way to think outside of the box. It's more the experience of it is a healing experience. And so when we're outdoors, you know, we can walk around barefoot out in the grass. And I've heard that that's very grounding, that when we walk barefooted outside, our bodies absorb the energy of the earth. And that can be very healing and balancing for us. So listen to your heart is the next one. Our heart can guide us to truths that have been hidden away. As we listen to our hearts and act upon the promptings, our minds will be enlightened and we will see things as they really are. It's like being set free. We always, Jade talks a lot about, you know, about following our heart compass. And, you know, sometimes we get feelings that, you know, something might not be good for us, or something is really good for us. You know, it's just, if we listen to our bodies will tell us what we need. And, you know, our guts will as well. And of course, eventually our brains will follow and follow suit if we just listen to our heart. So, and I'm sure we'll probably talk about that a little bit more. I actually added listen to your heart and then these last three. So desperation, I added this one because sometimes I feel that we might be propelled to think outside of the box. Sometimes the challenges in life can get so heavy and dark that we don't really have anywhere else to go but up. And there's nothing else that we can see to do rather than to reach for something completely new and foreign to our ideology. Something that we've not been open-minded to in the past. And this will happen if you still have a light of hope left within you. But there is a valuable moment there in desperation when you do reach outside and search for something that's just different. And that leads me to the last one, is pray with faith. So our prayers open up a whole new world of outside the box thinking. In fact, every bullet point above pray with faith point it can be activated by prayer and faith in getting maximum results. So does anyone have anything that they want to add to this? You know, that any thoughts on something that wasn't mentioned here on thinking outside of the box?
I do.
Sandra?
All right, this is Ashley.
Oh, Ashley, where are you? Oh, I thought that one bleeped. Okay. You're not
So
on that.
I love the child one because I feel like my kids have the best ideas that I honestly didn't think of myself. And I feel like, you know how Christ says like to become like little children, and just that innocence and purity, and actually I feel like it gives you access to this big, beautiful, unlimited brain before they enter the box, if you will. And I just really like that one. It was a good one, Cheryl.
Thank you. Thank you. I needed a little bit of help with that one. So that was perfect. Perfect.
I have another one, Cheryl.
Okay.
You inspired me too, but like I love the subject and these stuff. I love everything about this. And I think I'm one of your kids because I wrote this quote, and it was, you'll never get cornered from outside the box. And then I started to write this little book about it because I thought this is so cool, because if you know your enemy in their box and you can see outside of there, then you'll never get, you can outsmart them. So anyway, I love it. So I'm still a kid.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I love it. All right. So the scriptures are filled with stories of out-of-the-box thinkers, people who were divergent from their cultural norms, people who had faith in God and allowed him to guide them. So Noah was the ultimate example of out-of-the-box thinking. It was through divine downloads that he built an ark. People mocked him for this and said that he was foolish and that it couldn't be done. He proved them wrong, and he taught us that with God, anything is possible. And so I love this story, and the example that he set for us. And, sometimes I think nowadays we can use his example to help us as we're like trying to discover new ways of managing our healthcare, or kind of using the tools that we have been exposed to here. There's people that, I've been mocked by family members. I've been mocked by other people, saying that this is kind of like snake oil and things like that. And you know what? I'm just going to ignore that and stay strong like Noah did, and, and prove everybody wrong, because I know one day they will all be proved wrong. So, so another example from the New Testament is the woman who had an issue with blood of 12 years. She had faith that if she touched Christ's garment, that she would be healed. And she was. And I love that it says that she said within herself, if I may touch his garment, I shall be made whole. And it reminds me a lot of what Jade teaches us in the energy balancing with faith course. The woman believed that she could be healed. Her thoughts led her to the actions, and the actions to the results, and she was healed. That's a miracle, right? Miracles like this are happening today. I truly believe that. And there are people on this Zoom call right now that have beautiful healing stories that are no less miraculous than the woman with the issue of blood. I'm so grateful that I know of these stories, and I know these people. Another miracle of the New Testament is the healing of the man with palsy. One of the things that I really love about this story is that it was the faith of the man's friends that healed him. I love how his friends brought him to Jesus, believing he would be healed. I tried to envision what happened here, and it just makes me smile every time at the lengths that the man's friends went to bring him to Jesus. Because there was no way to get through the mass of people outside the door of where Christ was teaching. They decided to go on the roof and break it open and lower their friend down to Jesus. And the scripture says, okay. And the scripture says, when Jesus saw their faith, he said unto the sick of the palsy, son, thy sins be forgiven thee. He arose and was healed. That actually caused some controversy with the scribes that were present, because they did not understand the power of faith. They were limited in their thinking because of their traditions and culture. They witnessed a miracle, but still doubted and accused Jesus of blasphemy. So these stories in the scripture look a lot like what we are doing here in this amazing community today. We're learning how to help heal ourselves, our families, and our friends naturally. And we're helping to bring about miracles by showing others that there's a better way to become whole. Just as the 4 friends brought their sick friend to Christ to be healed, we bring our friends to Christ to be healed. And our faith can strengthen their faith until they have faith enough to seek true and deep healing for themselves. I love that idea, that our mission here, my mission, is to help others to see truth and to see that they have power to reach up heavenward, to be able to get divine answers. But the other thing is that the connection to that is that we have the tools, we have the products that that doTERRA provides for us, and we have other, natural resources as well that can help us to get the healing. And then you add faith to that, and it's just miracles happen left and right. So So I had a pretty cool healing experience, and this happened before I knew about doTERRA. Well, actually, before doTERRA existed, actually. And let's see. So I had this sty that was on my eyelid, and I am really funny about my eyes. I don't even like to wear eye makeup because if just a little something touches the edge of my eyelid, it's just making me cringe. And it just really irritates me. But I had this sty for a very long time, and I'd been seeing an ophthalmologist, and he had put me on some eye ointments and stuff like that to try and get it to go down. But nothing that he gave me was working. And after, about 8 or 9 months, he recommended that I get surgery. So I really didn't want to go that route. So I prayed and I prayed for an alternative to that. And shortly after I prayed, a memory from my childhood popped into my mind. My mom went through a phase where she sprouted seeds. And I remember being amazed at how they grew, and I actually enjoyed eating them as well. And then I kind of didn't think much about it. And then a couple days later, that thought popped back up into my memory. And this time I was thinking, maybe I should start, sprouting, but that I didn't do anything. And a few days passed. And I had a friend that came over. She had this catalog, and it was all about like self-reliance stuff. Because at this time in my life, I was doing a lot of like self-reliance things, canning and baking bread and things like that. So she brought me this catalog, and it was about a 70 or 80 page catalog, and it was just loaded with stuff. So I opened it up, and the 2 pages that were facing me out of this whole book had sprouting paraphernalia on it. And so I think I was like, that was kind of my message. Okay, it's time. You need to, this is an answer to your prayers. You need to go ahead and, try this out. So I wound up ordering a kit and got me a book so that I can learn all about sprouting. And once I got it, I started it, and like in 3 days I guess I better show you this screen because I wanted you to know what it looked like, because if you're not familiar with sprouting, this is the thing that I do that is very healing. And also, like, if you are into being self-reliant, this is a perfect thing to have around when you can't get fresh produce, because it's just packed with live enzymes and, just very active nutrients in there for us. So like if you can't get fresh fruits and vegetables at the store, you've got these. And they're even better for you than those ones at the stores because, they're little baby plants, and babies are bursting with a lot of energy when they're born, and they have really healthy immune systems. So these really help boost your immune system. But anyway, back to my story. After 3 days, my sprouts were ready, and fast forward 48 hours, my sty was gone. And it was just like, it was a miracle. I was just kind of like, this is so crazy how something so simple could be like just the answer to my prayer. And I know that this was a divine download from Heavenly Father to help me, because I prayed in faith asking for it. It was a miracle. And as a bonus miracle, with the same thing, my youngest son, he struggled with asthma, and he had to have breathing treatments several times a day. This is when he was about 3 years old. That's really, really rough on a little guy like that. He was the only one in my family who wouldn't try the sprouts. And, it was really frustrating because I'm like, I know this will help you. I want you to eat this. So I was inspired to chop it up and put it in his peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And not too long after that, I started noticing that he wasn't having the barking cough and the breathing issues anymore. And we never had to take him back to the doctor after that for asthma issues. So that was just such an amazing thing, to have that experience, to know that, God has provided naturally everything that we need to help us and to help our bodies to be strong and heal themselves. And but it's just up to us to kind of tap into that source of truth and to receive those direct divine downloads, and then use and act upon what information we get and use it. Don't let it sit in your closet. And that's the same thing with the oils. So this is where we're going next, is we're going to talk a little bit about doTERRA and the natural solutions that they provide for us. And let's see. But before we do that, though, I want to see if Debbie, would you be willing to share your story, because this is such a miracle to me, to be able to have witnessed this, and the change in her life since she started using doTERRA and started joining us with our energy balancing and all these amazing tools that we've been blessed with. And so go ahead, Debbie.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'll be glad to share my story, but I'm going to have to read it so I will remember it in order. Hope that's okay.
That is perfectly fine.
My signs of depression started after I had my second daughter in 1997. I went to my primary physician, and he immediately put me on antidepressants. I took them, but I still always felt dark and heavy. The medication seemed to numb my emotions. I felt like every day was just something to endure. I managed to get through them, but it took effort. I worked, did household chores, church callings, and continued to raise my two daughters the best that I could. I felt sorry for my family, that I was flawed, broken, and ashamed that I needed medication. In 2003, my husband came to me and voiced his concerns for my mental health. He asked me to see a psychiatrist. He wanted me to see a physician who specializes in mental health. He had done some research and had found a psychiatrist that he thought would help me. I had my reservations, but what did I have to lose? I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, PTSD, OCD, and ADD. I was put on antidepressants and meds for my ADD. He wanted me to consider ECT. That was one area where I drew the line. I was not going to shock my brain. I managed to work, take care of the family, and function. Life seemed to be tolerable. Then I started having unbearable migraines. I was having 15 or more a month, so I went to see a neurologist. I was then put on Topamax to prevent the migraines, Imitrex to treat the migraine, and then Pure-Set to medicate the pain of a migraine. It seemed like I was barely living, but I continued to press forward. In 2010, my father passed, and it really hit me hard. My mental state declined quickly. My migraines were increasing, my thoughts were constant and dark. I had terrible mood swings. My highs were high and my lows were low. I hated having to live like this. I had no quality of life, even while being on all sorts of prescribed medications. I was then diagnosed with bipolar. He told me I would always be on medications. Out of all my diagnoses, bipolar was far the worst. I felt like I had a crazy sign put across my forehead like a scarlet letter A. I felt ashamed and embarrassed. Life seemed to spiral. I ended up quitting my job. I pulled away from friends and family, and with time, I processed the information and realized that this was my life. Through the years, I was always trying different and new medications put on the market. I always wanted to believe the next medication was to be my miracle, but instead, I always ended up having side effects that I couldn't handle: tremors, restlessness, numbness, heart palpitations. There was times when I was even taking medication to prevent side effects. By this time, I was on sleeping pills as well. I literally took a pill for everything. To be honest, I knew I was addicted to Xanax. It was easier to take than to deal with my feelings. It seemed like I was always wearing a mask. I didn't want anyone to see the real me, and I was always hiding and listening to my fears, which left me alienated and alone. In December 2018, Cheryl, who was one of my friends from church, told me she had some oils that might help me with my migraines. She invited me to a doTERRA party in her home. That was the first time I met Jade. I opened up and told Jade about the list of medications I was currently taking. She told me that I could stop using my medications and replace them with oils. I was like, no, thank you. I thought to myself, she's not a doctor. She has no idea of what I struggle with daily. I did choose to take peppermint oil for my migraines and purifying digestion for my sinus issues. At the end of 2019, I found out that my insurance wasn't going to cover my antipsychotic medication. I could not afford $300 a month. I started to panic. I felt so alone. I knew something had to change. I knew I wanted to be physically and mentally healthier. I knew I needed to ask the Lord for his help. So I prayed and I cried and I pleaded for answers of what can I do? I told him I need his help getting all these medications, and it's divine healing. I knew it would be hard detoxing, but I had to believe I could do this with his help. Within a few days, I was prompted to call Cheryl and ask for help with my withdrawals from my medications. The worst withdrawal was not sleeping. My thoughts were constant and I was restless. I truly hated bedtime. Cheryl suggested Serenity at bedtime for sleep. I couldn't believe how well that it worked. She also suggested that I have an energy balancing with Jade. I was kind of skeptical at first, but I was trying to trust in the Lord and move forward in faith, even when it was different and crazy. When I was with scary. When I was with Jade, I felt safe and knew her only intentions were to help me heal. I got my first set of affirmations and oils to help me start replacing my negative false beliefs. It makes my heart hurt just thinking of all the time, money, and energy that I have wasted relying on the help of doctors. I have put my trust in the wrong people and have wasted thousands of dollars on medications that only made me sicker. After 24 years of living in a drug-induced coma, I'm awake and aware. I'm proud to say that with the help of doTERRA oils, I'm completely off the medications concerning my mental health. I'm eternally grateful to Cheryl and Jade for not giving up on me. And that's my story.
I love you.
Thank you
so much.
so much. I'm so happy that you shared that with us. And I love you so much, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie. I love you so much.
Thank you.
No
I love
problem.
y'all too so much.
Your story can help so many people to see the benefits of thinking outside of the box. And I know part of your what propelled you there was the desperation, but, whatever it takes to get there is, that's the miracle. That is in the miracle. And I'm so grateful that you are the person that you are. And that you're going to get to shine again. I love that, because anybody who knows Debbie knows that she is a force to be reckoned with. But she is just the funnest and most loving person that I've met. I don't know. I could go on and say so much about her. I'm just so glad she's here with us. So this next slide and my last slide, because it's been a little bit of a crazy week and I had a lot that I really wanted to add to this. I'm going to stretch this over here and hope that I can get back up. So this is the doTERRA Wellness Lifestyle Pyramid, but I felt something was missing. And so I added the natural wellness lifestyle with faith to this. And all of this right here is, it's kind of like a basic foundation for living a well life, the whole package kind of thing. This is just your basics here. So we know that, eating right is very important, and to our overall health. We've got to have those nutrients to help our cells function and work properly. And so we've got all of these foundational things right here, the Lifelong Vitality Pack and the Terrazyme, that just keep your cells working and feeding your cells and all that good stuff. Because, as Jade, her words always run through my head: healthy cells equal healthy tissue, are healthy organs are healthy you. So you got to have a good foundation there. I'm not going to really go in and talk about all of this stuff here, but I just wanted you to see that that this is the whole package. We have to add the faith to get the core healing, for this all to work. It's kind of like the glue that sticks everything together. These are all, I don't know how to say it. Somebody help me. They're like the
Building blocks.
What's that?
Building blocks.
I can't hear.
Building blocks.
The building blocks. That's the word that I need. They're the building blocks.
Yeah.
But this is the glue that keeps them together right here. So anyway, so if you, I know all of you there with Jade right now have been pretty much uplifted and blessed and have learned a lot. I just know it. And, that's kind of what you're going to get here. Jade, these books aren't out yet. This book isn't out yet, right?
It's April. Yeah.
In April. Okay. I was going to put the energy balancing one there, but I thought this one is perfect for this one because I know it has a lot of the similar, the ideas there. Does anybody have any experiences with using doTERRA or with, the faith, healing with the faith as well, that they would want to share? And Sierra, you're here. You just popped up. That was the screen kind of rotates, but anyway, I know Sierra has had an experience with her knee.
I have had several. I would say the biggest one is my knee. So for those that don't know me, I've coached gymnastics and cheerleading like pretty much my whole life. But I retired about like 3.5, almost 4 years ago now. Before retiring, I was getting to the point, I had severe pain every single day. Just walking normally, I would have severe pain. I was taking ibuprofen 800 milligrams about 4 times a day just to get through the day. So I knew I was doing horrible damage to my liver, which worried me because my dad had liver cancer. Not that that's hereditary, but I was just worried about the damage that I was doing to my body taking this pain medicine that I needed just to get through the day. And I had been told, for many, many years since I was about probably 35, 36, that I would need knee replacement, but they wanted to get me as far as I could and see if they could get me to 40, and they got me there. See if they could get me to 45. I had a cleanup surgery to like take out debris and shave the femur to make it smoother. And I have no cartilage or meniscus in my knee anymore at all. I haven't for quite a while. So it's been bone on bone for a long time. And I also only have one ligament out of the 4 major ligaments that you have in your knee to kind of hold it all in place and hold it together. I have one. So there is some significant damage that I did to my knee with an accident. But my mother is the one that introduced me to some oils because I was just telling her, that I was worried about my kidneys and my liver. And she said, oh, and by the way, I passed a kidney stone for the first time in my life and had, oh my gosh, for those of you who have experienced childbirth naturally, it's worse. I've had 3 natural childbirths, and passing that kidney stone was worse. I thought I was dying. It was really bad. And I'm sure that was because of the medication that I was using. Long story short, my mom introduced me some oil. She made this, I call it her magical potion of all these different oils, which I've actually kind of doctored a little bit since then and added others like helichrysum as well. And I started using a little less pain medicine. Now I don't use any pain medicine and I'm active again. I've recently lost over 20 pounds. I have minimal knee pain. On a normal day-to-day basis, I don't have any, but if I go and walk 5 miles or climb a mountain or something like that, then I have, a normal amount of swelling because I do have bone against bone. I rub my oils on there and then I'm good the next day. So it's just kind of, I call it my magic mix for my knee. It's phenomenal. And I've had several other smaller, nothing quite as big as Debbie's, but smaller things that I've had to deal with that I've been able to turn to doTERRA oils for. And as soon as I realized how much it was helping my life, I couldn't wait to share it with everybody I knew and try to share with them how these oils can do so much more than just help out with pain or arthritis or, things like that. But I mean, it can help out with serious kidney diseases or, other, there's so many things that it can do to help your body. And then after, staying with Jade and learning even more about energy balancing and how that can just be an added blessing to our lives on not just ourselves, but our ancestors on how we can heal. That's just a really phenomenal blessing. So.
Thank you, Sierra. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So much, Sierra. That's beautiful.
So that's pretty much it. I mean, I know we started a little late because of technical difficulties, but that's pretty much it. And I'm so grateful for those who shared.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. I'll stop the recording now and we can chat off the record. Fantastic. That was awesome.